welcome back to Good Morning Sri Lanka. For those who are just joining us, today's focus is more or less mainly on photography, a little bit of sports thrown in there as well. And right now we have a couple of very special guests in studio to speak to us about an exhibition which is taking place in just a few days. In studio I have from the the Photographic Society of Sri Lanka, Mr. Priyanka Pereira, who is the president of the exhibition committee, as well as Mr. Vikram Senanayaka, who is the secretary of the exhibition committee. Welcome on the show.
Thank you. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
So now the exhibition is just a couple of days away. How's the organizing going? Is everything ready to be mounted?
Well, we embarked on this about 3 months ago, really, soon after we had finished one of our assignments out on a field trip to Kandy. It actually happened between the two of us over a beer and lunch, and we never thought that it was going to be this difficult, to be very honest, organizing it, because our batch is the largest thus far in the history of Photographic Society. So we have 70 members, and out of that 70, 35 are taking part in the exhibition. So all these people are from different walks of life. There are people who are professionals in their own way, and there are students, housewives, and the entire lot. So bringing all these people together has been a huge challenge for me. But nevertheless, I think putting an exhibition perspective of what transpired last year at the international exhibition, which is an annual event held by the Photographic Society of Sri Lanka, I'm happy to say that there were 8 countries participating, 1,800 odd photographs submitted, out of which only 212 were selected. Here we have a batch of 35 people, and who have taken up photography. Some are professionals, some are hobbies, some just take it up for the kicks, so to speak. And they have produced a wonderful set of photographs, so much so that we had 470 prints being submitted amongst 35 of us, and out of which 204 have been selected. The selection was done by an eminent panel of judges of 5 people from the industry. So it is quite a challenging exercise, but I think 2 days from now we are coming to the fruition of that exercise, and we are quite happy with the progress that we have made so far.
And as a society, you guys have a very prestigious history and a heritage of not just being something that appeared yesterday, but you've been here for a while. I think our viewers should know a little bit about that history, but also this sudden spike in interest for photography. I think this is one of the largest batches you've had, and the most amount of people actually wanting to exhibit their photographs. And that's interesting because they're confident enough to show the world, saying, you know what, I want my stuff out there. So talk about the history and also why the sudden spike of interest.
The Photographic Society started in 1906, and it has been having its annual exhibitions from 1954. I believe that there's quite an amount of interest that has come up with the students, because it's all about capturing a moment, and then you want to remember that moment. For example, a housewife would want to capture a moment with a son or daughter. So learning photography, the techniques of photography has become so important. Now in the olden days we used to have reels and manual cameras. Now it has changed to digital cameras, so it has become much more easier.
I think just to add to what Priyanka is saying, there is also the technology that is there today has helped immensely, because in the old days it was more to do with technology, knowing what the techniques. Today the digital world has actually changed that quite drastically. Even a small child can hold a point and shoot camera, and there are a lot of settings in that camera that can actually emulate what is there in a DSLR camera. And the use of eBay and Amazon has kind of bridged the gap between what you can have access to. So it's no longer a case of just going to your local dealer and paying a price for it, but also you have a choice. in the selection of your equipment. So as a result of which, I think there's more interest. It's become more affordable as such. So that's where I think the spike is in terms of this interest.
And you've probably got, as you said before, you have people from a lot of different backgrounds coming in. You've got from housewives to professionals to from all types of work.
Right. Yeah.
And I was just wondering, is it also, is it only because, it's accessible not only through photographs, like through cameras? Are you having anyone using phones?
Yes, in fact, some of our group members have used phones. Then there was no camera at hand, for example, to capture that moment.
But
and
the quality of it in relation, is it equal or in any way?
No, there needs to be a certain amount of editing that some of those photographs when you take them from a camera when you take from a phone camera as against a DSLR. That's for sure. But I think the important thing is capturing that moment is important. So for example, a sunset, you might find that that particular moment you want to capture it and you don't have access to a camera, so you use your phone. But then the technology is such that the tools are available today, which again is an emulation of the old darkroom concept on computers, where you use things like Photoshop to enhance the quality of that photograph, edit the photo.
So even photographs taken from a phone can be exhibition quality.
Can be made too.
In regard to this kind of skills that you provide through the course, and you're trying to help people who enjoy and love photography as a hobby to take it to a whole another level, do you want to talk to us about the skills and the skills attained? Is it good enough for them to go commercial after that, or is it just to become more professional in their output?
Okay, I think we consider ourselves to be students of life, so I think the learning never stops. If one says, okay, you go through a course of 3 months or 4 months and then end up being or calling yourself a professional, I think we are fooling ourselves. What needs to happen is to then cultivate the habit of taking good photographs. Framing is important, use of your light is important, and the color temperatures are important. There are nitty-gritties that one needs to know, rather than just take a photograph centered on the frame, which used to be the case in most of the times. So definitely the course provides you the foundation, if I may say, of the basic technical aspects that you require, and beyond that it's a case of cultivating the habit of taking photographs, studying photographs or taken by other professionals, submitting them to exhibitions, talking to judges. In fact, when we did the judging process for our exhibition, we had quite a learning experience there itself, because the way they judge your photograph is entirely different to what you think was a perfect photograph. Right, so it's to do with all of that.
Yeah, speaking of photography and some of the actual stuff that you have, we do have some images that we'd like to share with you so that you have a sneak peek into what's out there at this exhibition. We would like the two of you to talk us through some of these images.
Yeah, this is an image that was taken was entered into the open color category, where a man is walking in. Now, for example, if you look at the technical aspects of this particular photograph, your eye is drawn right to the end, and the person is walking into the frame. So it's not a centered, kind of what shall we say, a postcard, but a picture that has a story to tell, something that gives life to that photograph.
And the composition's pretty engaging.
We follow a rule called what is rule of 1/3. So you divide the photograph into 1/3 and you place your pictures on a rule of 1/3.
Now this one, he's not centered, he's just off center.
It's off center. If you look at it again, the monk is actually moving away from the frame, but its position, the positioning of the monk is, your eye actually gets drawn to that. So which means it's a very good photograph, and this again is it has been entered into the open color category.
I love the fact that there's a creation of depth within a 2D.
Right. Correct.
And if you want to talk to us about this.
This was entered into the open mono category, which shows the face of a close-up face of a lion. And I think the author named this as Pride, just to show the character and the strength that is produced. This, I believe, was taken at the Theravada
Basilica.
Church. And again, you can see the use of light, how the light actually falls onto the person and highlights that,
Would you say something like this is edited within the computer?
Yeah, there could be certain amount of editing in terms of color enhancements, certain amount of light enhancements that are necessary. Only thing is, if your photograph is overexposed, there is no way you can edit it and get back the detail of it. So you'll, if it is underexposed, there is certain amount of things that you can
And
use.
speaking of this one?
This is under mono portraiture category, where this person was taken from the Gadladiniya temple and shows his way of life, expressions. I think the author named this as reality. This, I believe, is in Singapore, taken by my colleague sitting over here, Priyanka. This was in the open color category. Of course, his relation to that photograph is, he's named it as curves, if I remember right.
All right, it's pretty curvy. And this one, the final one we have today.
Yeah, this is again, this is the niece of one of our class members, and this is in the portraiture color category. Yeah,
I see.
All right. So I'm sure, like today, because we've been showing all this photography that has been pretty exceptional and standard, some of our viewers are getting pretty excited about, okay, so when do we go, where do we go, and how do we get involved? Would you share that information?
The exhibition is on the 15th, that's the opening ceremony, and on the 16th and the 17th, that's this weekend. The exhibition is at the Lionel Vent.
And for those who are interested in joining the course in the future and being part of becoming more professional?
Yeah, basically they can start off with the course, a 3-month course that is offered by the PSSL. And then from there onwards they can take up more advanced techniques and, as I said earlier, practice the habit of taking good photographs, framing them right. And that would take them places, I'm sure.
Awesome.
And practice makes perfect.
Yes,
Which
that's
everyone is getting used to, actually. The camera is something that always draws you.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining us on Good Morning Sri Lanka. It was a real pleasure having you on the show today.
It was our pleasure to be here, and thank you very much for hosting us and also giving us the opportunity to take this message forward, and also we hope to see everyone come for the exhibition.
Yeah,
and
we wish you all the very best. Keep up the great work of capturing the beauty around our beautiful country.
Thank you very much.
I will be right back. You're watching Good Morning Sri Lanka. As we come back, we're going to wrap up this morning show. Welcome back, and we want to thank you for joining us on today's show of Good Morning Sri Lanka. Every morning we're here, same time, same place, to have a conversation with you guys and also share some very exciting and inspirational things. But today, on today's show, we were very glad to have our guests speak about the exhibition of photography, and we want to remind you about the date and place.
Yes, it will be held at the Lionel Vent this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. It's open to the public from 9 o'clock to 7 o'clock in the evening. So lots of time for you to take a look at something different. It's beautiful, actually. I love the images. And you'd definitely like to take a look at them.
Yeah, and also for those of Sri Lankan sports fans out there, whether it's the cricket that you're coming to Colombo for, or whether it's the Bradby that you're coming to Colombo for, whatever it is, you've got a reason to go relax and check some really awesome photography. Just go to the Lionel Vent, just go check it out, and admire the work of some budding photographers from Sri Lanka.
And just before we sign off, just a quick reminder, we are on Facebook and we like to have friends. So if you are on Facebook, do
Not us individually, but
Yes. the show, definitely. So just search for us as Good Morning Sri Lanka and press like.
press like and be part of the show. Once again, we thank you. We want to see you again tomorrow morning. And this is Prashant and Premi signing off from the Stein Studios in Ratmalana. We'll catch you tomorrow.